Hey everyone, this is Tony, Dungeon Master of D&D Raw. And before we begin, I just wanted to say, if you enjoy D&D Raw, we would love it if you would support us on Patreon to hear new exclusive content and updates before anyone else. By contributing as little as $1 per month, patrons enable us to dedicate more time to creating episodes. Our higher level patrons get access to DM's notes, outtakes from our episodes, the chance to add an item or NPC to a D&D Raw episode, and even to join our monthly patron game. We wanted to thank all of our Adventure tier and above patrons for their support this month. So thank you Jeremy Kleinhans, a Linux fan, and Dark Queasy, and a very special thanks to our producer tier patron, Gnome, for serving as a producer on this episode. To find out more about how you can join this list of outstanding people, go to patreon.com/DNDRaw. If you're not able to support D&D Raw on Patreon, we would love it if you leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Next week's episode will be Serviceable Plots episode 15, and today's Rumble Squad episode is Maybe the Spellweaver will be taken care of for us. And with me today are the following players.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I will be playing Orc Fireforge, the Hill Dwarf Forge Cleric.
Hi, I'm Jane, and I will be playing Nissa Turin, the Gnome Arcane Trickster Rogue.
I'm Nick, and I will be playing Leuven Cromdell, the Half-Elf Alchemist Artificer.
Hey, I'm Rachel, and I'm playing Elaine Fox, the Human Barbarian Druid.
Last time, the party studied the room they were in and learned what they could of the item that they had come here to collect and study. After speaking with Isenthias, Oric learned of a hammer that seemed to be dedicated to Yadamine, along with instructions on how to craft the hammer, though they were somewhat cryptic. While Leuven studied the drawings on the walls and Elaine kept the orcs from getting too restless, Nissa took on the appearance of Avantir Anvilik, the smith of Neverhelm, and used the scrying orb to look in on a few people, including Avantir himself, who was apparently still alive, and Rydot, who seemed to be working with a figure known only as the Champion. As they removed the orb from the wall, the party were then teleported to the entrance of the ruins.
Orc is going to check and make sure that all of his limbs and things are still there.
Still there.
Are all of the orcs with us still?
They are freaking out, but yes.
That was unpleasant.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'll take traveling by anvil any day over this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of fun, actually.
I don't like being squished.
Isenthias, yep, that hurt last time too.
Thanks for the warning, Avelios.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Thanks,
I'm sorry.
dude. Seriously.
Alright, I'll turn to the orcs, to Glasha. I think from here, we can part ways with the warning that I think Rydot is working with the Champion, whoever or whatever that being is. So be on your guard.
Yes, we'll be careful.
And if that Champion is a threat to your tribe, you should definitely let your war chief know.
Yes, we will talk to the ancestral heart. You see the other three orcs are heading towards the tunnel that leads out.
Oh, there are traps.
Immediately, you hear Orcish.
No, we set them so people wouldn't follow us.
They are on the look, and you see a couple of the ones that are pretty close to the tunnel point at what is definitely a hunting trap there.
And I'll just point to myself, mine.
One takes his axe, slides it out of the way, and then just starts to proceed up the tunnel.
There are this many, by the way, and I'd give the number and approximately where and when.
There are two that are pretty clearly visible, halfway up the tunnel, and two at the beginning, both hidden very carefully.
So hold on, were they all unsprung so Rydot didn't trip any of them?
As you guys approach, one of them looks like the actual pressure plate got partially crushed. There is some blood on it, and some of the metal is bent and twisted.
Can I regather the ones that are not destroyed?
There's one down here that is not destroyed.
Okay.
So you can reacquire it.
So where that one trap was that was kind of crushed, does Oric notice any large footprints that may have belonged potentially to the Champion?
Roll survival.
15.
You notice large footprints, bare feet, though.
Do the orcs wear shoes?
The orcs do. Something you saw in the smithy, though, didn't.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh no! Oh no! Our little weird buddy.
Your big, beefy, like half spiked, stonish looking skinned, hulking creature.
Oh, buddy.
I will point that out to the party.
Could have been a friend if we didn't trap him.
To be fair, I don't think he knows it was us that planted him.
Still feel bad.
So you guys proceeding back?
Yeah.
So you guys begin to proceed up the tunnel? What's the marching order?
If nobody stops, I would try to go first because of the traps.
Then I guess Oric would be right behind you.
I'll go last.
Okay. You proceed up the tunnel. Elaine, when you get about to the halfway point, you see like lots of scratches all along the walls. Doesn't seem super recent. And then the traps look mangled.
Ugh, crushing guilt.
There's a little bit of blood on these traps.
Yeah, I'm collecting them, but I am definitely like wincing like, oh man, I'm a jerk.
So takes you nearly an hour. Travel all the way back up. By this time, the sun is kind of like angled, kind of hitting as Elaine, you can see clearly lights at the end of this tunnel.
Because I know we were feeling it felt very unnatural. Has any of that changed?
No.
Okay, so it still feels messed up.
Yes, the whole place feels weird. Once you got out of the vault, that left a little bit. The most intense feelings of like unnaturalness was in there, but still doesn't feel right. Still things feel off.
Okay.
So, as you guys are coming up, you notice like, essentially seems like there might be a little bit of fog up ahead. It's a little cold as you guys are emerging from the tunnel. It's actually a lot of fog. It's pretty heavy and thick right now. You can see the light kind of shining through it. All start to emerge. I need all of you to make a strength saving throw.
10.
8.
9.
13.
So, as you guys emerge, the plants and vines all entangle you and restrain you in place.
Oh, no.
I knew it.
Spirit, maybe.
Yeah.
As they do, the fog clears a bit, and you see the grass seems to literally rise up in 4 separate spots around you, and each forms 4 different humanoid kind of forms as the grass just like swirls in place.
Leuven or Oric? Any ideas what this is?
Do I have any idea what this is?
What these things are, or what is holding you?
Both.
2 Arcana checks. First one is for what's holding you. First Arcana checks.
9.
16.
16.
Leuven and Nissa, you know this is the Entangle spell.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to restrain targets. Second Arcana.
4.
11.
8.
Leuven, you know the name is a Bilwis, but you don't know anything else about them. All of them, by the way, the humanoid form, it like has these long strands of grass that seems to be like long flowing hair almost, and all have a more feminine form. You hear kind of a melodic feminine voice come from around you. That seems like from the woods itself. Why do you harm the creatures on my lands?
I'll quickly look over my shoulder to be like, I'm taking the blame for this, and then I'll look back to collectively the spirits. It was not meant to harm your creatures. It was meant to stop somebody that we are chasing, an abomination on this world.
A hunting trap is meant to hunt. It helps to capture creatures, harms them, so that you may use them for your own needs.
The abomination we're chasing is what I was trying to stop. I was trying to stop its escape.
And yet you bring potential harm to the creatures of my lands.
If I see you struggling to come up with a response, I would to see if you'd like me to jump in.
I'll give like a little tiniest of head shakes, like not yet. Don't want to implicate more people. Yes, it could have brought harm on other creatures of your land, and for that I am sorry. I was only thinking to stop the immediate threat that we've been chasing.
Roll a persuasion check.
12?
You seem to show little regard for lives other than your objective. That's a shame. I am debating whether I should correct this error or see if you learn from your mistakes.
At this point, I'll do a side eye to Leuven like, yeah, now might be good to step in and help. I don't know what I'm doing.
We're appreciative, actually, that you're teaching us this. We didn't think our actions through as clearly as we could have, and if there's anything we can do better in the future, please let us know and we will do that.
Were you aware that these lands belong to the Lady of Spirits?
We were.
And yet you chose to come through them.
We were also warned that if we came across any creatures on your lands, not to attack them, and we did come across a bear that was hungry, and Elaine fed the bear.
The bear must learn to survive on its own. Feeding the bear, while kind, disrupts its natural life.
The alternative was that we would be attacked, and we did not wish to cause harm.
You did not have to stay. Why are you here?
We would like to actually leave now, and not disturb your
That
lives
doesn't answer my question. And as he says this, the trees start to shake and shift. The wind actually picks up. You see all forms, like the swirling intensifies.
So, as I said, we're chasing an abomination, not a creature that belongs on your lands or any lands on this plane.
One of you can roll persuasion with advantage.
15.
Wind dies down. You will be escorted off my lands if you should ever come back, especially with orc allies. Request my acceptance first. Otherwise, you give your lives to chance that the woods provide. Are we in agreement?
Yes,
Yes.
we'll comply.
The vines retract from your arms and legs. You are able to move freely again. You hear a slight whimpering sound from Avelios behind you. From the trees, you see a cloaked figure just emerge, all in black. A spear kind of in one hand. The hood's pulled real low, hiding most of the figure's face. I am your escort. This way. She gestures over her shoulder.
Does this new person have the same voice as the one we were hearing?
Not quite. She kind of steps to the side and then gestures for you to follow.
I think I'm just gonna follow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Avelios, I'm assuming, is coming.
He's kind of hugging Leuven slightly, like clinging to your clothes a bit.
I don't shrug him off or anything because it's a pretty terrifying situation.
As you guys are walking through, you feel like there are eyes all around you. That whole sensation of you're being watched is constant.
Man, I have had enough of that today.
You follow this robed figure. Elaine, you notice the figure leading you, as she initially was turning, seems to have extremely pale skin. You just barely notice like the lower jaw. Very like delicate features. And you notice like there seems to be just a little bit of dark brown hair that's falls from the front of her hood a little bit over her left side.
She doesn't look at all familiar, though.
Nope.
Okay.
This is just the brief glimpse you're able to get.
Yeah.
So Elaine, like an odd sensation, you can tell that there's some animals around, but they're not talking. They're watching. I'm assuming you're leading.
Yeah.
Okay. Like every so often then, you get kind of like, you notice it only like as you get closer to the figure in front of you, but it's like a heaviness.
Does it seem like super out of place?
Doesn't feel natural. Like kind of you're following, and you know a lot of times like you have to clamber over like a branch or get around a log that's fallen. As you're kind of walking through, when she starts to slow a little as you get closer, it's just a weird like sensation of like weight on your shoulders. But only when you get closer.
Is she causing it, or is something else causing it?
You're trying to see if this is like something she's intentionally doing?
Yeah.
Roll insight.
A whopping 10.
Looking at her, she never looks back at any point. So doesn't seem like she's trying to do anything like that intentionally.
Okay. I guess I'll just quietly follow then.
What are the rest of you doing?
Quietly following.
I would be quietly following as well, but being very aware of my surroundings.
Roll perception check.
20 total.
Looking around, you notice almost every animal as you're walking by seems to kind of like pause and just watch you go. The wind even in this area is quiet. Looking as you continue to do, Auric, you think you see shimmers of movement around you, but there's nothing in those areas whenever you see it.
Would I be able to make some kind of arcana check to see if I might know what could be the source of either the shimmering or the unusual behavior?
Yeah, roll Arcana.
15.
The shimmering could be invisibility. The animals, you know of spells that can dominate, you know of spells that can allow people to see through another animal's eyes. On this scale, it's either a lot of people or it's someone real powerful.
I'll kind of like whisper to the rest of the party, I think I've seen somebody invisible following. Are the shimmers just kind of like following us?
Yep.
And do I get a sense of number of them?
About 3 different points. One's like off to your right, one's off to your left, one's behind you.
Okay. I'll try and relay that to the party that it looks like we're being flanked and followed by invisible creatures in addition to the person in front of us.
Okay.
That's fine. We're just leaving.
You guys get to an area of the woods that looks the same as every other area of the woods.
Yep.
But this area is special.
The figure in front of you stops, kind of moves off to the side a little ways, giving actually a good distance. And then this is the border of her realm.
Vashti's?
Vashti's realm exists beyond.
I would kind of give a little bow. Thank you for the safe passage.
I'll whisper to Elaine, should we ask her if she knows anything about how to stop the Spellweaver or the champion?
No.
Do not confront the champion. Seems like she heard you even, he whispered.
Yeah.
Do you say that for our safety or some other reason?
Roll persuasion.
12.
You will not win. If it is your time to pass from this world, feel free to confront the champion. If you feel it is not your time, stay away.
Is the champion an ally of your forest?
I am not the Lady of Spirits.
Is the champion an ally of the Lady of Spirits?
Not as far as I am aware.
At least that's one less thing we have to contend with.
Well, as Elaine said, thank you for the safe passage. We'll be going now, right?
I'm starting to walk to the border.
As you are kind of coming up from the bow and looking back at this figure, you see elven features and black eyes, briefly.
All black?
Kind of a golden iris, actually. But otherwise, yeah.
Can I do a nature check on that?
You can do an arcana check on that. Nissa, you can do so as well.
7.
14.
Okay. She's an elf, but specifically you're fairly certain she's an elf known as a Shadar Kai. You know, Shadar Kai don't tend to come onto this plane unless someone important is going to die. Someone that their god wants sight of the death.
I will relay what I know, but once we're away from where we are.
So, you saw all this as you were passing by the woman. Are heading into Vashti's lands now.
Once we get back across the quote-unquote border, what does the lady do? Does she just, like, watch us, or does she turn and walk away?
As soon as you cross, she then just waits to see if you keep going.
So once we get further in to where I can't see her anymore, so she definitely wasn't human.
I think she is something called like a Shadar Kai, but I don't really remember the details.
Death elf.
Death elf.
Uh-huh.
Want to elaborate?
Basically, she's come to watch someone die. Someone important. Shadakai, they're not normally on this plane. At least I don't think.
Okay. And then, Auric, you said you saw some things that were invisible possibly also following us?
I think I saw about 3 of them, but honestly, there could have been more. It's hard to say.
Do the Shadar Kai often travel in groups?
Not normally. They're usually alone.
Well, I'm sure that's not ominous at all that there's some death elf gallivanting about.
Hey, doesn't worry me. I know I ain't important, so I'm safe.
So, they come to watch important people die.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know anybody important around this area?
Not unless it's one of the Guardians.
But she's obviously working or helping the Lady of the Spirits because she was our escort.
Would a Spellweaver be important enough? Maybe the Spellweaver will be taken care of for us. We don't need to worry anymore. Woohoo!
Well, I don't think we're going to be figuring it out right now. We should probably make our way back to town.
Yeah. I could use a drink.
Drink sounds like a grand idea.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so we have Avelios, Agos,
Hi.
you.
Yes?
We have the
Me.
object.
Yeah.
We know there's a lot of stuff about to be bad.
If Avelios is still close by out of fear, I'll try to, like, pat his shoulder.
He jumps briefly and then calms down. Okay. All right. Whew. Yeah. Let's get back home.
Avelios,
Yeah.
what do you know about Shadar Kai?
They come from the Shadowfell and they worship a god of death, and the god of death sends them to this plane to watch someone important die or to watch a lot of deaths if it's something big. It's usually like important people or something, like it's about the memory of the death or what happened around it or what the effects are. It's about the memories of it, I think, but it's about the death.
Okay, I'm getting death, important memories, death.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, death.
So, in this region, Avelius, do you know anybody important enough that would warrant sending a Shadar Kai?
I mean, the Guardians are actually pretty big deals. The champion is, yeah.
Okay, you seem to know what the champion is.
What do you know about him?
He's supposed to be really big and really scary. Well, he said he and the Spellweaver are working together, Yeah, I don't know much about him. He kind of showed up like a little over a year ago to the area. I started hearing references of him. That's about all. He apparently, is really strong.
No word of where he came from? Why he came?
No one who spends much time looking for the champion, they either are possibly now with him or aren't with us on this plane anymore. I'm not really sure which.
What do you mean with him?
Well, they don't come back. So I've heard rumors that he's gathering, people. He's a champion of something. I just don't know what.
Alright, I guess maybe we should go back to town. Perhaps somebody else in town would know.
It's possible.
Salazar? Your friend?
Yeah.
Maybe she would know or have some insight or know who would.
Oh yeah, how did Salazar know I was missing, by the way?
She hadn't heard from you in a while.
Oh, it had been a couple of weeks. Wait, how did you know that I was Egos and Evelios?
She saw you sign something as Egos once.
I only signed my name as Egos when I went to the Lucky Bird to send a message out that actually got to the Nephenee. I'm trying to remember if she was there. She might have been there.
Well, you can ask her about it when we get back.
Yeah. I gotta check by my house. I haven't been there now in a couple of days, and I know that the Rydot was there. Did they mess with all my stuff?
I'm gonna be just shaking my head. We're not going by your house. Also, I'll point to all my traps that were previously his.
Oh wait, those aren't yours?
I may have borrowed them.
I can make you some more.
Do you want this vial back, too? I pull out the little explosive liquid that was part of one of the traps.
Oh, you disabled my trap.
Yeah, do you want it back?
Yes, please. He snatches it. This took a couple days to make.
What is it?
That's a poison. It's supposed to be attached to a tube. It was supposed to be in the door, that when unlocked was supposed to essentially push all of the liquid out into a gaseous form and poison the person's face. And then they fall unconscious.
Clever design. I'd love to see that sometime. I mean, not literally see it.
As you say, I was to see that, I was I could throw this in your face, and that would... Oh, okay, no, yeah.
So, we know that Rydot did get into your house. He was down in your secret underground area. I don't know what to call it.
He found my lab?
Yeah. He was going through books and things, and then we fought him as well as some hobgoblins.
He had hobgoblins.
He's just acquiring friends, apparently.
You notice he looks like he was getting really annoyed and concerned and all that, but now he looks legitimately worried.
They tossed the place a bit, but everything seemed to be mostly intact. Maybe a couple singed pages here or there, but otherwise everything should still mostly be there.
Yeah. Hobgoblins?
Yes.
Aye.
But he also had the orcs with him.
Yep, like I said, making friends.
By the way, while you guys are walking, you kind of suddenly, see Vashti, coming up by you. Real quick.
Of course we do.
Is she in her normal form?
In her normal form, as she just, emerges from the tree line. How are you all doing?
Been a little better, but still have all my limbs.
I see you found the person that you were looking for.
Aye.
You are safe. You did not anger the Lady of Spirits. This is good.
I wouldn't go quite that far.
Yeah, she's not happy with us, but she didn't kill us.
You're alive. That is at least something.
Yeah, we're not best buddies yet.
Are you all headed back to Isenthias?
Unless there's a reason you have come out of the woodwork to speak to us that we need to address.
No, I simply said that I would wait along the border until you arrived.
Okay.
I wanted to see how you were doing and if you were successful in defeating the Spellweaver.
Not so much.
He got away.
Again.
Seems he does that more often now, to anyone who encounters him. Please, we can continue to walk and speak. And she's just going to kind of lead the way a little bit, just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, Evelios, you were concerned about the hobgoblins specifically.
Well, he had hobgoblins with him there, and then orcs and a Lady of Spirits, but they don't work together.
It is true that I think hobgoblins appear sometimes to guard an important person or a head of an army, right?
Some do. As you guys are talking, Vashti also chimes in. Wait, he had orcs with him to the north. Mm-hmm. And hobgoblins here?
He did.
Both groups are working for the Spellweaver?
We're not sure working with or working for. It's a little unclear, but the orcs made it clear that the war chief ordered them to work with Rydot.
The Ancestral Heart?
Yes.
And what of the Fortuneborn?
Head of what, huh?
The Fortuneborn. He is the leader of the goblinoids to the south.
I don't think that name ever came up.
Nope. We may have murdered them a little too quick. to get any information.
They do not usually travel this far. They are very loyal to their commander.
What do you know about the one known as the Champion?
He is from far to the west as of a year ago, maybe a little longer. He is establishing a presence for himself. He is vicious and uncaring.
Do you know what race he might be?
I have only seen him once, but it was in a full plate of armor. A beast of a man. Easily 8, maybe 9 feet tall.
So, question for the DM. What humanoid races would I know that could approach that height?
Furbolgs, Goliaths.
Or orcs? Do they get that big?
Some of them can hit 8 feet. Orcs can actually probably get to close to that height.
Has he come through your lands? And would you know if he was?
He tends to be able to hide his presence, as does the Spellweaver, which makes it difficult to deal with him if he ever arrives.
We may have a way to get around that temporarily, but we'll have to see.
That would be good if we can find them. Dealing with them will be another issue entirely, but at least we will know their location, and we can deal with them then and formulate a plan. I'd rather have the champion out of this plane as quickly as possible.
Well, the champion wasn't immediately part of our mission. We still need to complete that.
Of course, this is concerns of the Rugorum, I understand.
You said you want him out of this plane? Do you think he came from another one to begin with, or you're just speaking vaguely?
I simply do not want him on this world.
Okay.
At all. I want him gone, in whatever manner that is, whether by portal or by death. He is a dark soul.
Now that we're here, Nissa, you saw the sword, and then you guys, I think it was you actually, Oric, said something about Obris.
That's who the sword was associated with.
Vashti, any knowledge of Obris that might assist us? Because he had a sword similar?
I believe he is the orcish god. That is all I know.
It's about all that we knew as well.
So, if we ever figured out where the champion or Rideout were, and they happen to be on your lands, do you have forces at your disposal in nature, kind of like what Lady of Spirits had?
I am not as powerful as the Lady of Spirits, I'm simply an elf, but I have some power over the lands here. It is a connection to the land itself. This is how the guardianship works. My primary focus is the protection of Isenthias and the lands around it. Do what I can to protect it. I usually have beasts that can inform me of creatures not supposed to be here. I can get around fairly quickly when I want, in one form or another.
Did the Guardians normally employ the help of the Shadar Kai, or is the Lady of Spirits a special one?
Shadar Kai?
Aye, she had one with her. That was who escorted us off her lands.
Why is the Shadar Kai on this plane?
I don't know, but I'm sure it can't be for good reasons.
Most of the Guardians here have been around for decades.
Are the Guardians mortal, immortal?
The Guardians are all immortal. We bind ourselves to the lands that we protect. That gives us additional powers in these lands, but we can still die. At least as far as I'm aware. The Lady of Spirits might be something else entirely.
If a Guardian is killed or somehow removed from their position, how is a new Guardian chosen?
Usually someone will have to claim the land. If no one does, it is simply left to the wilds. The Guardians choose to protect the areas that they protect, for one reason or another. If one Guardian were to kill another, they can claim that Guardian's land for themselves.
Has there ever been a war like that?
A very long time ago. It nearly destroyed Isenthias, or what it was at the time. Since then, the Guardians have decided to stay in relative peace with one another. Do you worry that a war is coming?
Not so much a war, but the champion, whatever they are, if they are able to take powers from something else, or claim a land as their own, and they're already a force to be reckoned with.
You worry what the champion will do if he, or she, has guardianship over another land claiming that power.
Exactly. And working with Rydat.
That is a dangerous combination.
We should also report this to the leaders in Isenthias.
Yep, and probably send word back to Nephenee.
Might be a good idea. I know not what the Nephenee would do in case of something like this.
How many Guardians are there?
Well, the ones that I know about, there are several farther to the west and farther to the south and southwest. There's the Lady of Spirits to the north. I am here. The Ancestral Heart is to the west. There is Boulder, the Earthen Soul.
Say that one again?
The Earthen Soul. He is one of my few true allies here. He is to the south of Isenthias.
The soul of the earth, you say?
Yes.
Interesting. Do the words heart of flame, speed of air, or the beauty of the sea mean anything to you?
Those are terms for powerful elementals, I believe.
What more can you tell me about them?
Powerful beings composed entirely of powerful elemental energies. It is said that Earth and Soul gains much of its power from the elemental plane of Earth. Whether that is true or not, I don't know. But they are creatures that are fairly powerful. The terms you use make it imply that it is their essence, rather than they themselves. Why do you ask?
Inside of the area where we are at, I saw an inscription for how to forge a hammer that is blessed by my god Yadamine. In order to do it, it requires these various elements. So do you think that this Earth and Soul might be the one and the same as the Guardian to the south?
I do not think it is exactly the same, but he might have taken the name after the beast. He might also be able to know more about it than I. He has a closer tie to the elemental plane of Earth than I do.
Do you know anything concerning the location of these elementals?
No, they are most likely not on this plane. They are on their own home planes.
Very well.
So, you guys continue on. Avelios doesn't look particularly happy that you aren't stopping by his house, but
There is no point.
that's where I live.
I understand, but you'll be safer with us, and you'll be safer when we get back to town. Once we get things squared away, you're free to do whatever you want.
All right.
As we're walking, I do also, just part of the small talk, ask about, locations of different herbs and components needed for various recipes, some of which were actually in Velios' lab as well.
He will start to tell you where he finds a lot of the stuff that he gets to Silasar.
Sweet.
As he mentions, like, the different properties, a lot of the different plants around. So, as the sun is setting, you hear, off in the distance,
It's the party.
as they are partying. As you guys start to get closer, eventually Vashti goes, "This is where I must leave you. If you need me again, simply call for me. But again, please do not mention my name in Isenthias.
I will give a polite, full, respectful bow. Thank you for working with us.
You have shown great respect for my lands here. I appreciate that. Not everyone does."
We try. And then I'll kind of turn and keep walking back towards town. I'm assuming the rest of you are as well.
All right. So, you guys head back to the platform. You rise up. What's the plan?
If you give me those hunting traps, I can probably repair them for you.
I have no problem with you repairing them. Okay, it's late. We're all tired. It's been a long day, and the party is going on. Do we want to relax first and tell everybody everything in the morning, or do we need to high priority find whoever's in charge, get the word out about everything, and then, ruin everybody's night?
I'd like to confer with my god.
Everyone we're looking for is probably out there partying anyway, so...
Yeah, alright.
Okay. So, where are you guys going?
I'm going back to my cart, check on Anvil, and I'll take the hunting traps with me if you give them to me.
Yeah, I'll give them over.
Who do I go with?
Us.
Okay.
Yeah, we need you to come because you are the one that also needs to send out a message that we've arrived. That whole we were supposed to check in. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Okay. So, he will follow you. Orc, when you get to the cart, Anvil is there, kind of walks up to you, nuzzles towards your pockets.
I will give him some snacks.
He's happy.
Perfect.
So what are you planning to do?
I was going to go into the cart and use my channel divinity to repair the hunting traps.
Okay.
And then I wanted to try and confer with Yadamine and see if I can get some info on the champion and what he wants me to do with that. Basically, some kind of guidance.
Roll flat wisdom.
10.
There is a warmth. You have the connection again. You can feel Yadamine's presence. It's a little bit weaker. It could just be that you're tired and having trouble focusing. I mean, you traveled almost all day yesterday and most of the day today. You dealt with a lot of situations that kind of put you in really bad spots. You feel his presence as you channel the divinity and repair the first hunting trap. You know he's there. You know he has granted you blessings, but you're not getting much of a response. What are the rest of you doing?
Probably just heading to the main platform and starting to look for, or asking Avelios, is there a contact in town we need to meet with to take care of the Nephenee pieces?
Well, we want to go to the Lucky Bird. They can send a message out a lot easier. So one that will actually get all the way to the Nephenee. It should only take a couple of days.
The owner of the Lucky Bird would be?
Well, you're looking for Hoot.
Like an owl?
Hoot at the lucky bird.
Well, he's in a rockacraw. He's about this tall and puts it like at 4.5 feet.
You're not describing him for us. Like, you're gonna help us find him.
Oh,
Because you're the one sending the message to the Nephenee.
right, because I need to write all that down. I will do that. I will help you look. Okay, so he's looking towards the platform. We should get closer. And we'll start leaning towards there.
Yeah.
Nissa, Leuven, what are you guys up to?
Following along as well.
Yep, following along, and as soon as I come into contact with drinks, I am taking one and drinking.
As soon as you hit the central platform.
Excellent.
I will have one.
Yes, same. I'm getting one, and I'm gonna just nurse it slowly.
After a bit, you notice in a rockacraw off in the distance. You hear all, by the way, all the same things from before. You hear about the games of the knife throwing, about the arm wrestling. You hear the people who have the large sticks that are trying to knock each other off of this little pedestal. I'm assuming you're passing right past all that.
Reluctantly.
Okay. Yes, please come, try your luck. Yes, test your skill. Try your might against him, our strongest competitor. Yes, test your strength. As you guys are walking by, you find Hoot kind of on the edge of one of the bridges, just like perched, just waiting, kind of like sipping a drink. You see, as mentioned, he is in a rockacraw, just shy of 5 feet, with brown eyes, smooth, dark brown, black feathers, with a oval, fairly common-looking face, and very slight of build.
Motion for Avelios.
Hi, Hoot. Hi. Yes, I need to write another letter to be sent out. What's the distance? It's to the Nephenee. Oh, yes, from last time. Come by tomorrow. I can write it tomorrow, and then we can set it up and have the paperwork sent out. Avelios looks at you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna step up. This is very important. Hoot, I will pay extra if necessary.
What do you have?
I'm gonna pull out my belaying pin. So I have this really cool pin that is used to club fish over the head when you catch them, so that you can catch them easier. And it is very remarkable.
Roll deception.
It's a 15.
Hand shoots out. Deal.
I will hand it over.
Right to my shop. This way. Come on, come on. And just wings unfurl and then flies up a little bit and over. And Avelios like, and just starts to hurry along the bridge. We arrive at the Lucky Bird. Once you get inside, doors already open. Hoot's inside, just getting some stuff together. You see a lot of different birds here, just moving about freely. Hoot kind of like goes to a desk that's kind of off in the corner, fumbles around a bit, and takes a key and unlocks and pulls out a single piece of paper, puts it on the table, gets a quill. Hey, what's the message? What are we saying?
Avelios?
Well, what exactly do you want me to tell them? Everything? Because that'll take more than a piece of paper, and I don't know if a single piece of paper will
Maybe
actually
just
cover.
hit the hot points, like Spellweaver, we made it, we have the item, important, problems, the high points.
Right. So, over the next few minutes, as Avelios thinks and carefully words the letter to make sure he's hit all the very important details. So overall, you're mentioning the Spellweaver, you're mentioning the champion, that you guys are here, that you have the item described. What else are you mentioning?
As sub-bullet points under that, I would like it mentioned working with possibly Ancestral Heart and the Fortuneborn.
Writes all of that.
Do we mention scrying?
Do you mention if it's a threat to them or not?
I think we should say could be a threat.
Okay. Hoot finishes writing what you tell him to write. All right, that's it. Starts to fold the paper and begins to fold it again and starts to bend it together and pinch the sides and fold, and eventually it looks like a little bird, little paper bird. And he walks over to a window on his store, he opens it up. So who is this going to? Just the Nephenee?
Dorora Ilfakir.
Dorora Ilfakir, he whispers into it, and suddenly the wings flap and it just flies off. Hey, pin.
I'd hand it over and Ivan,
Takes it.
yeah.
And just looks like, oh, thank you. Please come again.
Now that that's taken care of, I think we can enjoy ourselves.
All right. So, are you guys just going to relax?
Yeah.
I want to try the knife throwing again.
So, you head over to the platform for the sake of brevity a little bit. Which targets are you going for? Close, middle, far?
I'll do 2 middle, 1 far.
So, make 2 regular attack rolls and 1 at disadvantage.
That's a 6.
First one,
Second is a nat 20. 14.
you hit just under the target. Ah, well, better luck next time for you, my friend. And kind of puts hands on either side of your cheek and lightly taps your face.
I will reach up and tap 2 fingers on his forehead. Thank you.
It's like, yes, my friend. Good. Well, come back next time. You need to try again and keep doing better.
Certainly will.
What are the rest of you doing?
Of the challenges available, you said there was arm wrestling, there was the pole thing to, like, knock someone off. I'm going to try that one.
So you go over to the platform. It's pretty busy. You know, have this wood elven challenger kind of twirling this quarterstaff around. You are handed one as well. It's like, please try your luck. So you hop onto the platform. Now, roll a dex check first.
19.
So you get to go first. So make an attack roll using strength and proficiency.
20 total?
Nice. Roll a d6.
1.
So you focus and quickly strike at the leg, and it starts to knock. It seems to cause the person to start to lose balance a little bit. They go to retaliate, and the staff kind of hits you in the shoulder. I need you to make a dex saving throw.
11.
You're holding your footing, but that hurt a little bit. It's non-lethal, but you take like a point of damage.
Okay.
As it like bounces off your shoulder, you have next strike.
It's an 11.
You swing, and he ducks out of the way before he strikes out at your legs. Hits you in the legs. Make another dex saving throw.
20.
You get hit in the legs, and kind of as one's getting pulled, you quickly leap up and back onto the platform. Very secure. Go ahead and make an attack.
18.
Roll a d6.
6.
You strike, hit him in the opposite leg from the one you hit before. He tries to recover, but as he's starting to land, his foot slips and he falls off. And then you get a quick cheer, like, ah, yes, our new champion. Would you like another challenger and keep going, my friend?
Yeah, sure.
So we'll say you're doing that for a little bit and having some fun. Nissa, what are you up to?
I would have grabbed another drink, and then I think I would go try out the dagger throwing.
Close, middle, or far?
I will do 2 close, 1 at the middle.
Okay, so all 3 regular attack rolls.
15 for the first one.
Hits center of the target.
17 second.
You almost hit your own knife as you slam it into the target.
11.
You clip the target, but just barely miss on the middle target. And you hear, oh, my friend, it's no problem. Please, again, I remember you from before. Come by if you want to see the creatures that ride around on the 2 legs, the one you saw before. Blades of grass, yes? You liked it?
I remember she was very impressive.
Yes, we have other creatures there if you want to see them instead. Please stop by, you and your friend.
I will, thank you.
Of course. Kind of does a 2-boop on your forehead.
I'll try to do it back. I don't know if I can reach.
He will have been leaning in, so he will allow you if you wish.
Aww, I like him.
Claps like his hands together. All right, our next challenger, please come up. Auric, what are you up to?
I'd probably still just try and commune with Yadamine.
Okay.
Just because it's been a long day. And my connection to him had been strained. So I'm catching up on my quality Yadamine time.
Okay. So, what are you guys going to do for most of the rest of the night for this? Because I know Leuven was playing the game, and I'm going to jump back to that in a minute. But Elaine, Nissa, what else are you doing? Or are you just chilling, drinking?
I would grab a big old plate of food and non-alcoholic beverages for myself.
That takes you a bit to find.
Because I don't want to get hammered tonight. And then I'm going to sit down at a table and watch the people dance and stuff food in my face hole.
It's good food, especially since you had rations the last day.
Yeah.
Nissa.
Just gonna chill, grab some drinks, maybe catch up writing in my journal a little bit. Just kind of observe the party.
All right, then.
What is Isenthias doing?
He's just kind of like following you around and just sipping at ale. You notice it's the same ale, though, throughout most of the night.
Okay.
So, Leuven, you go for a few more rounds. Eventually, though, it'll start to wear on you because you do get hit a bit. And it doesn't hurt much, but it's like a point here, a point there. It starts to get sore.
Yeah, after a couple rounds. And I start getting really into it, too, like playing to the crowd, like, cheering, woo! And getting cheers back if they...
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some of them more drunk than others.
And eventually I give one last grand bow and thank you! See you all next time! And I shuffle off.
You're a little sore, but otherwise you did well.
And had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. What are the next plans for Leuven?
I'll just find the others, sit down with them.
Okay. And that is where we're going to leave this episode for today.
Thank you all so much for listening. Please share this with your friends and follow us on Twitter @rulesaswritten, or check out our website dndraw.com, and feel free to email any questions to the DM at dm@dndraw.com. Also, subscribe and leave us a review or a comment anywhere podcasts are found, and please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dndraw. Catch you guys next time.